Every creative struggles with resistance. It manifests in the forms of perfectionism, procrastination, analysis paralysis, overloading yourself with information. It's like you can't quite seem to finish projects or even start on an idea just because there's this kind of fear, this edge that is really scary to kind of bust through. So I really want to speak in this video to help resource you to really reframe your relationship to resistance, how to use it as a guide and an ally to creating your best creative work, and just some helpful, practical sort of tools to help you stay grounded and work through the inevitable resistance that's gonna come up no matter where you are in your journey of creativity, of building a business, so on and so forth. So if you're new here, my name's Kev. I'm a creative strategist, award-winning furniture designer, and I love helping people design and build thriving businesses from the inside out that are heart forward and filled with creativity. So let's just dive straight into what resistance is offering us. I believe resistance is the greatest opportunity we have to learn about ourselves because it's pointing the way to fear. Fear is intelligent, but the thing is we usually avoid our fears, right? If I am afraid of losing something or afraid of losing money, or if I'm afraid of being seen or being judged, I'm probably gonna go in the way that feels like I'm minimizing the potential manifestation of those fears, right? We all do this. But I'm sure if you're watching this video, you might not feel like the growth, the expansion that you really desire is coming your way. You might not feel like you're getting the results you want because we're not failing when we're not really embracing fear and resistance, right? So take a moment to appreciate how resistance has kept you safe and kept you in this kind of comfortable life. But now it's time to be done with being comfortable. It doesn't mean that we don't prioritize safety. It just means as a creative human, I'm going to come most alive when I'm dancing with that growth edge, when I'm viewing resistance in a whole new way. So the way that I frame the opportunity of resistance is it's actually the doorway to really become the next best version of ourselves. It's really the doorway showing you exactly the work that you need to focus on right here, right now. So if you resist writing that newsletter or hitting send on that email or launching that product, making it live, chances are there's an emotion and a fear in there, and that is the specific thing that you need in this season of your life to get where you want to go, right? We never know 2 steps ahead. We really only ever know 1 step, the next thing. And often that step is in the form of resistance. The problem is that we're like, I'm resisting doing this. This is hard. I want to find something easier to do. I want to do something else. But the resistance is the doorway. So if you can learn to frame whatever it is that you're resisting and learn that the medicine is to lean into that. The medicine is to confront, okay, this thing kind of scares me, but it excites me because it makes me feel alive, because it makes me feel like I'm doing something new and curious, and I'm opening myself up vulnerably. Those are the things that innately we as creative humans crave because that's where you expand. Right? That's where your capacity is stretched. That's where ideas are created and really where we get skin in the game of life in our creative expression and in our business, right? So that's a good way to reframe resistance. Instead of thinking it as a wall, imagine it being a doorway. And it's a scary doorway because you don't know exactly what's behind it. You know that there's some form of fear, that there's some sort of stuck emotion, whether that's anger, whether that's grief or sorrow, or maybe even something like excitement, that maybe that's being really excited. I mean, there's a whole category of fears that people don't talk about, like the fear of being successful, the fear of being too joyful when the world around you isn't on the same wavelength, right? Those are valid things. So whatever your context is, realize there's uncertainty behind that doorway of resistance. You don't know what you're opening into, but all you know is that the resistance is there and the only way is through. And the practice is just to acknowledge your fear, to sit with your fear and have a conversation with it. The practice is to acknowledge acknowledge where resistance is coming up. I want to pivot the way that I show up digitally in my writing. Let's say that this is something I'm going through. I'm kind of split right now into like personal brand, into like a separate business, and I want to make them cohesive. And it's like I fear that like making them cohesive underneath my personal brand I'll be judged or I'll be perceived in a different way, where this identity that I've created my whole life will be muddied, or some people won't understand me. And so like, I have this fear of being misunderstood, seen vulnerably, and being judged. Okay, like, can I just sit and acknowledge those fears for a moment? Like, my fear of being misunderstood is a really, really deep sort of a deep wound, right? It's like, to be understood means that I am safe in the world. So when I can acknowledge like that fear is very real, but the power is in acknowledging, okay, fear, I see you. But what would become available if I opened myself up to more authentic expression? Would it matter then if people don't understand me, if I understand me and this feels aligned and this feels right? And then the more that I can sit with those things, the more the less power the fear has over me, the more it sort of starts to dissolve. And the more that I can see resistance as a way for me to reclaim my strength and power. If resistance is a wall, I'm gonna avoid it. But if resistance is a doorway, albeit it might be hard to push that doorway open, if I can see the fear that's coming up inside of me, I can actually grab some of my power from that fear, right? It's not disregarding the fear, it's befriending it, taking my power back from it, and opening that door confidently. Now I'm much more in my own power, in my creativity, in my strength, and resource to really do the work that's going to help me create more evidence for the person that is good enough, worthy enough, authentic enough, steadfast in my own mission, and not give a damn what other people think type of thing. So befriend the fears inside of the resistance, lean in, embrace them whenever you can, and then when it gets too overwhelming, just take a pause. Take a pause and be able to reflect on the person you're becoming as you embrace the fear, because I guarantee you that's more of the person you want to become. So you can apply this to building your business, to reaching out to a gallery to get your work in a gallery, or to just showing up in a community with a new sense of identity, right? Like, this is who I am moving forward. I'm a new person now than I was yesterday, and I want to be seen as that person, and I'll be misunderstood. But you know what? This is what I'm leading with. I'm gonna be more authentic, I'm not gonna hold back, and I'm just gonna speak my radical truth and lead with my heart open. It's like, dang, that's powerful. That's gonna create more of the life that you want. So that's what resistance is trying to help you do, is to live more of the life that you want. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, let me know in the comments below. Looking forward to hearing how you guys dance and navigate with resistance. I could speak for a whole hour on this, but I'm just gonna leave it short and sweet like that. So appreciate y'all. Ciao.